The machine keeps turning, silently shaping the world in ways most people never notice. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't warn you before it moves, doesn't reveal the cost of its decisions until the consequences are already in motion. And by the time the public begins to feel the effects, the architects at the top already know how the next chapter will unfold. Generations grew up believing that debt was a personal failure, a sign of poor planning or bad luck. What they never understood was that the system itself was engineered to make debt unavoidable. Every major expense in modern life was slowly inflated beyond the reach of ordinary income, forcing people to borrow just to participate in society. Houses rose faster than wages. Education rose faster than opportunities. Healthcare rose faster than savings. Even food, transportation, and utilities crept upward year after year, while salaries remained frozen in place. The machine never needed to force people into debt. It simply made everything too expensive to pay for without it. As people worked harder, the system cleverly rewarded them less. Productivity climbed, but earnings stagnated. Corporations grew larger, but workers received a smaller share. And whenever pressure built to a breaking point, the machine released temporary relief, a stimulus check, a tax credit, a loan program, just enough to keep people believing the system was stable. But beneath the surface, the debt load grew heavier, the financial footing weaker, the dependence deeper. Meanwhile, governments found themselves trapped in their own version of the cycle. They borrowed to fund programs, borrowed to stabilize markets, borrowed to fight crises, borrowed to win elections, borrowed to satisfy voters, borrowed because not borrowing meant facing the consequences of decades of overspending and underplanning. The interest alone consumed vast portions of national budgets. Yet every solution offered was another form of borrowing, each fix creating a bigger problem disguised as progress. And slowly, the governments themselves became hostages of the machine they once controlled. The most revealing evidence of this shift came from the markets. Stock prices soared even when economies struggled. Corporations thrived even when communities collapsed. Financial institutions grew stronger during recessions, not weaker. And every time the system seemed ready to correct itself, central banks stepped in to prevent it. Free markets no longer guided anything. Algorithms did. Liquidity injections did. Emergency interventions did. Capitalism quietly transformed into a managed illusion, protecting the wealthy, insulating the powerful, and leaving the rest to navigate a distorted landscape where prices rose. Opportunities shrank, and stability depended on forces no citizen could vote for or influence. And yet, despite all the imbalance, the machine appeared unbreakable. Crises came and went, and each time the system adapted by becoming more complex, more digital, and more hidden. Until now. Because now, the cracks are no longer subtle. Inflation has become persistent. Currencies are losing trust. Nations are seeking alternatives. The once unquestioned foundations of global finance are showing signs of fatigue. And the cycle of borrowing, printing, and inflating has reached a point where even small disturbances ripple outward with unprecedented impact. People feel it in their daily lives, in the cost of groceries, in the price of homes, in the fear of job instability, the pressure of loans that never seem to shrink, in the quiet anxiety that something fundamental is shifting beneath the surface. They may not understand the mechanics, but they sense the instability. They sense the fragility. They sense that the system no longer works the way it once did, or perhaps the way it was promised to. And while most wait for reassurance, the machine continues adjusting itself, tightening its grip, redirecting wealth, and preparing for the next transformation, a transformation that will redefine how money works, who controls it, and who benefits from it. In the shadows of every economic headline, the real story unfolds: a global dependency built on perpetual debt, sustained by engineered inflation, enforced through digital control, and justified by crises that always seem to arrive at the perfect moment. The world is approaching the stage where the machine can no longer hide behind complexity. Its influence is too large, its consequences too visible, its design too unstable to maintain forever. Every empire that relied on debt eventually confronted the limits of that strategy. Every financial system that expanded beyond discipline eventually found itself cornered by reality. And every society built on illusions eventually faced the truth. The hidden debt machine continues to run, but it cannot run forever. Its next move will reshape economies, redefine power, and rewrite the rules that billions of people live under every day. Those who see the pattern understand that the coming shift will not be gentle, it will not be simple, and it will not be evenly felt. But it is coming quietly at first, and then all at once.